Welcome to Teaching Tuesdays. We are currently doing a verse by verse study in Matthew chapter 24. We are all the way up to verse 29, and today we're going to look at 29 through 35, Lord willing. Up until this point, the disciples have come to Jesus and asked him a question, and they said, when is the end of the age coming? When and what is the sign of your coming? And when is this going to happen? And so Jesus is answering these questions, and believe it or not, he answers them backwards. The first one, verses 4 through verse 14, explain that there's coming a tribulation period. At the end of that tribulation period, that's when the end will come. That's when the end of this age, the end of the world will come as we know it. Then verses 15 through 28 describe to us what's going to happen at the midpoint of the tribulation. I've heard people say, well, prove to me that there's 7 years in this tribulation period. And if you go back to Daniel chapter 9, you see that Daniel is given a prophecy from the Lord saying that there are 70 weeks determined upon Israel. And what a week means is a week means a group of 7 years. So there are 77-year periods given to Israel. And at the end of those, God is going to make an end for sin. He's going to judge everything. That's the end of the ages at the end of these 70 weeks. If you add all those up, 70 times 70, 70 times 7 is 490 years. We find that Jesus rode in on the donkey at exactly 483 years after that prophecy was given. It was kept literally. And there's going to be one more 7-year period to equal 490 years. When Jesus rejected and he was crucified, there was a pause in time. And now we have the church age. And at the end of the church age, when that age is over, we will go back to the 70th week and play out that last 7-year period. And this is what we're talking about here is this last 7-year period happens in Matthew 24. And it says, when you see this abomination of desolation spoken of in Daniel, and we're going to go back to Daniel chapter 9 and verse 27. It says that last week, in the middle of the week, the abomination will happen. He will go into the temple and declare himself to be God. So this puts verse 15 is at the middle of that 7-year, that 70th week, the last week prescribed by Daniel. And then it tells us what's going to happen. And at the end of that period, from 3.5 years to the 7th year, it says, then you will see Jesus come. And it will be as if lightning is from the east to the west. It's going to be something that you could see. You will know for sure that it is Jesus coming. Up until that point, he says, all the Christs that are going to come, they're going to say, oh, look, he's in the desert. He's in a secret chamber. He's off someplace else. And Jesus says, no, you will know that it's me coming because the skies will demonstrate it completely. Look at verse 29. Now we're going to get a detailed description of what it means when it says the lightning from the east to the west. Just as you see the birds circling a dead corpse and you know that that's a dead corpse out there, you're going to know that the Son of Man is coming. And now I'm going to explain it to you in detail how he is coming. Immediately after the tribulation of those days. Now, I've had some people talk about tribulation, and they think that anytime the Bible says tribulation in it, that it's actually talking about the same thing. Well, there's going to be tribulation that all saints, all people go through, and it just means adversity. Something's going bad. Paul suffered tribulation when he was put in jail with Silas. You know, they were martyred. Some of them were martyred. Some of them were. John was boiled in oil. You know, there's people that have tribulation today. You know, you could even say we have tribulation today. Not as much in America. We don't get persecuted like the rest of the world, but it's coming. It's going to be a tribulation for us there. When it says immediately after the tribulation of those days, it doesn't mean just any tribulation. It means the time of trouble. It means the time of Jacob's trouble. And Jacob's name is Israel, the time of Israel's trouble. This is the 70th week prescribed by Daniel. This isn't just any time. This is the tribulation leading to the great tribulation leading to the return of Jesus Christ. Immediately after that the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of heavens shall be shaken. So here we have a picture. When Jesus comes, he says, you're going to see it. Everybody's going to see it. It's going to be a spectacular show, as if the lightning coming from the east to the west. And you've all seen that beautiful storm that comes through that is so deadly and so fearful, And Jesus says it's going to be like that. In fact, when I come, the sun's going to be darkened out. You're not going to even see light from the sun. If the sun's darkened out, then what happens to the moon? It doesn't give it light either, because it reflects the light of the sun. So the sun's going to be darkened and the moon won't give its light. And then it says stars will fall from the heavens and the heavens will be shaken. I can only imagine how scary and how ominous that would be to see meteors and stars fall from the heavens to the earth. It looks like everything is coming apart at the seams. And you've seen those movies where everything's just pulling apart and it's getting ready to wisp into nothingness. And I believe that's what we're going to see. These stars could also be angels coming down to this earth to exact judgment onto men. It says immediately the sun will be darkened and the moon will not give its light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of heaven shall be shaken. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in the heavens. And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn. Why would all of the tribes of the earth mourn? Those people that have taken the mark of the beast will mourn when they see this happen. They will know that there was a true God. They will know that Jesus was the Messiah, and they should have put their faith and trust into him. Those that did not believe are going to mourn because they realize they made a dreadful, dreadful mistake. And they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and with great glory. And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. Now, this has been a topic of controversy for a while. If you talk to most people, they would say, who is the elect in the Bible? Well, it really depends on where you're at and what you're talking about. But majority of the time, it is Israel. It is not the church, it is Israel. And this is talking about in this time, the trouble, Jacob's trouble. This is for Israel. This is Israel. And I would say saints that came out of the tribulation, those that put their faith and trust in God during this time. And we're going to see in Matthew 25 that there's going to be a sheep goat judgment. And you're going to see those people that helped Israel, those people that put their faith in God, will be called sheep and put on his right hand, and those that didn't will be put on his left hand, those that survive this time alive. And all those that are sheep are going to be put into the millennial kingdom, and all those that didn't believe, that took the mark of the beast, will be cast into hell. This is that time. This is why they're so sad, because they realize they made a dreadful, dreadful error, and they did not put their faith and trust in Jesus. This is the end of the tribulation, the beginning of the millennial kingdom. And we'll look at the millennial kingdom in the next chapter. But this is what Jesus was answering for them. He says, this is what's going to happen. There's going to be a tribulation period. And at the end of the tribulation is the end of the age. Midway through the tribulation, this is going to happen. And once we get to the end, I come again. And everybody's going to know that it is me coming. There will be no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's me coming. And then he says something else, starting in verse 32. And there's been a lot of contention on this. A lot of people want to say stuff about this verse. Now learn the parable of the fig tree. When his branch is yet tender and putteth forth leaves, you know that summer is nigh. So likewise ye, when ye shall see these things, know that it is near, even at the doors. Verily I say unto you, this generation shall not pass till all these things have been fulfilled. Heaven and earth shall pass away, but my words shall not pass away. People get this parable confused and they don't understand. And I've seen people try to equate this parable because he says it's a fig tree. And then back in the Old Testament, it talks about fig tree dropping its figs in an untimely manner. It doesn't mean any of that. What he's telling you is that when you see a tree and this tree, you walk up to it and it's starting to bud. Now, this time of year, we're here in March, April time, we see buds on the trees like crazy. The end of winter is come, the beginning of spring is here, and the trees are starting to put out their leaves. My goats are all excited. They can't wait to get in there and chomp on those beautiful little leaves. But when people see this happening, when they see the signs on that tree, they know that spring has come. They know that summer is near. We know that summer is coming because of those signs. Even so, when the people see the signs of the tribulation coming, they know the tribulation is near. We talked about that clear back at the very beginning. It says, you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, and you shall find people who claiming to be the Messiah and the Christ, and you're going to find all these earthquakes and pestilence and famines, and it's just going to get worse and worse and worse and worse into the tribulation period. And then in the middle of the tribulation, they're going to hunt you down and kill you in my name's sake. And then the end shall come. Here, this is what he's saying. When you see this happen, when that generation that views this, not the generation that he's talking to, and people want to confuse that all the time and say, well, he's talking to the disciples. This should have happened in their generation. It's not what Jesus is saying. Jesus is saying the generation that sees the buds come, the generation that sees these things start, is the generation that will see it to the end. And I look at what's happening now in this world, and I can look at it and I can say, look, wars and rumors of wars, check mark. Kingdom against kingdom, check mark. Nation against nation, check mark. I can see all of these things coming about, and I know that the end is coming close. Israel is now a nation. They had to be a nation. Ezekiel 37 says they had to come back together so that Ezekiel 38 and 39 could happen, the Gog-Magog war. All of this is setting up for the end times, and those that see this, that generation will see the end, not the one that he is speaking to. And then Jesus says, heaven and earth shall pass away, but my words shall not pass away. He's giving you a promise. This is exactly what is going to happen. This is a given subject. It's going to happen. Heaven and earth could pass away, but the words he spoke will not pass away. What he says in this book is absolute truth. Well, tune in next week as we look at the rest of the chapter, starting verse 36, and we're going to look and see when is the time that this is going to happen. That's a very interesting study, isn't it? So tune in next time. Thank you very much.